Jack Torrance, a struggling writer, needed a change. His life had become a series of disappointments, and his once promising career was now overshadowed by his personal demons. The pressures of daily life, combined with his inability to produce meaningful work, had left him feeling lost and desperate for a fresh start. Battling alcoholism and writer's block, he sought solace in a new job. The weight of his addiction had strained his relationships and clouded his mind, making it nearly impossible to write. He believed that a change of scenery might be the key to overcoming his struggles and finding the inspiration he so desperately needed. The job winter caretaker of the Grand Overlook Hotel. It seemed like the perfect opportunity, a chance to escape the distractions of everyday life and focus solely on his writing. The hotel's remote location promised the isolation he craved, and the responsibility of maintaining the property during the off-season would provide a sense of purpose. Isolated in the Colorado Rockies, the Overlook promised peace and quiet. Nestled high in the mountains, the hotel was cut off from the rest of the world by heavy snowfall during the winter months. This seclusion was exactly what Jack needed to clear his mind and concentrate on his work. A chance for Jack to reconnect with his family and reignite his passion for writing. He envisioned long, uninterrupted hours at his typewriter, finally able to bring his ideas to life. The tranquility of the Overlook would allow him to focus on his craft and rediscover the joy of storytelling. He hoped to mend his relationship with his wife Wendy and their young son, Danny. The move to the Overlook was not just about his career, it was also an opportunity to heal the rifts in his family. Jack believed that the time spent together in the hotel's serene environment would help them grow closer and rebuild their bonds. Danny possessed a unique gift, the shining, a psychic ability that allowed him to see things others couldn't. This extraordinary talent made him sensitive to the hotel's eerie presence, even before they arrived. Danny's visions and premonitions hinted at the dark forces lurking within the Overlook's walls. Unbeknownst to them, the Overlook held dark secrets that would soon test their sanity and their will to survive. The hotel's haunted past was filled with tragedy and malevolence, and its malevolent spirits were eager to ensnare the Torrance family. As the winter wore on, the Overlook's sinister influence would grow stronger, pushing Jack to the brink of madness and threatening the very lives of Wendy and Danny. The peaceful retreat they had hoped for would become a nightmarish battle for survival, as the hotel's dark history came to life in terrifying ways. The Overlook Hotel stood alone, a majestic yet eerie presence. Snow-covered peaks surrounded it, isolating it from the world. As winter tightened its grip, the Torrance family settled into their secluded life. Jack found himself drawn to the hotel's history, its grandeur, and its secrets. The vastness of the empty hotel began to weigh on Wendy. She felt the isolation closing in, amplifying her anxieties. Danny, sensitive to the supernatural, felt a growing unease. The Overlook was awake and it was hungry for their souls. The Overlook had a history steeped in darkness. Murders, suicides, and unexplained events whispered through its corridors. Danny's shining intensified, revealing terrifying visions of the past. He saw ghostly figures, their eyes filled with malice. He heard voices, beckoning him, threatening him. The hotel's evil seeped into Jack's mind, feeding on his frustrations and vulnerabilities. He became increasingly erratic, his anger simmering just below the surface. The Overlook was playing a deadly game, and the Torrance family were the pawns. Jack's writing remained stagnant, his frustration growing with each passing day. He began to see and hear things, his grip on reality slipping. The ghosts of the Overlook whispered to him, fueling his anger and resentment. His transformation was slow, insidious. He became withdrawn from his family, lost in his own world of madness. The once loving husband and father was now a stranger, his eyes reflecting the growing darkness within. The Overlook was claiming him, twisting him into something monstrous. Section 5. Wendy and Danny trapped in a nightmare. The Overlook Hotel, with its sinister history and malevolent presence, had ensnared them in its web. Every corner of the hotel seemed to whisper threats, and every shadow seemed to hide a lurking danger. Wendy found herself trapped with a man she no longer recognized. Jack, once a loving husband and father, had become a stranger, his eyes filled with a madness that chilled her to the bone. The man she had married was slipping away, replaced by a monster. Jack's descent into madness terrified her. His once gentle demeanor had turned violent and unpredictable. The hotel seemed to feed off his instability, pushing him further into the abyss. She could see the torment in his eyes, but there was nothing she could do to save him. She feared for her life and, more importantly, for Danny's. Her maternal instincts kicked in, and she knew she had to protect her son at all costs. The bond between mother and child became their only shield against the encroaching darkness. Danny, his shining a beacon, became the focus of the Overlook's evil. His psychic abilities made him a target, and the hotel was relentless in its pursuit. The visions he experienced were horrifying, filled with blood and terror, and they left him trembling with fear. The hotel wanted him, wanted to consume his power. It was as if the very walls of the Overlook were alive, pulsating with a dark energy that sought to engulf Danny. The malevolent force was insidious, creeping into their minds and twisting their perceptions. Wendy fought to protect her son, her love for him the only weapon against the encroaching darkness. She clung to the hope that they could escape, that they could find a way out of this living nightmare. Her determination was fierce, and she refused to let the hotel win. But the Overlook was powerful, and its grip on Jack tightened with each passing day. The sinister force within the hotel seemed to take pleasure in their suffering, reveling in the chaos it had created. Wendy knew that time was running out, and the battle for their souls was far from over. Section 6. The Hedge Maze, a labyrinth of terror. This section delves into the chilling and eerie experiences within the Overlook's infamous hedge maze, a place where fear and darkness intertwine. The Overlook's grounds held a massive hedge maze, a tangled labyrinth of green. This maze was not just a garden feature, but a living, breathing entity that seemed to pulse with a sinister energy, drawing in those who dared to enter. Danny, drawn to its allure, wandered its paths, his shining guiding him. The maze's twisting corridors and high walls seemed to whisper secrets, beckoning him deeper into its heart. His psychic abilities, known as the Shining, made him acutely aware of the maze's dark presence. Within the maze, the Overlook's evil took on physical forms. Shadows moved with a life of their own, and ghostly figures appeared and vanished in the blink of an eye. The air was thick with a sense of dread, as if the maze itself was alive and watching. Topiary animals came to life, their eyes glowing with malevolent intent. These once innocent garden sculptures transformed into nightmarish creatures, their branches twisting and contorting as they stalked their prey. The glowing eyes of these creatures pierced the darkness, adding to the terror. Danny, terrified, ran through the twisting corridors, pursued by the manifestations of the Overlook's power. His heart pounded in his chest as he navigated the maze's endless turns, each step taking him further into the unknown. The maze seemed to shift and change, making escape feel impossible. The maze became a symbol of the Torrance's entrapment, a physical representation of their struggle against the hotel's grasp. It was a place where reality and nightmare blurred, and every path led to deeper despair. The hedge maze was not just a physical challenge but a psychological one, testing the limits of their sanity and will to survive. Section 7. Redrum, the language of madness. Danny's shining manifested in chilling ways. He uttered a single word, redrum, over and over. It was a warning, a cryptic message from his subconscious. Wendy, initially confused, soon understood the terrifying truth. Redrum was murder spelled backward. The Overlook was driving Jack to kill, to spill blood on the pristine snow. The word became a chilling reminder of the danger they faced, the horror that awaited them within the walls of the Overlook. Section 8, Room 237, a gateway to horror. Room 237 held a sinister reputation within the Overlook. It was a place of death where the hotel's evil concentrated. Danny, drawn by an unseen force, entered the room. What he saw there scarred him, his innocent mind unable to comprehend the horrors he witnessed. The Overlook's power, unleashed in that room, marked Danny forever. He carried the trauma with him, a chilling reminder of the hotel's malevolence. Section 9. The final confrontation, a battle for survival. Jack, consumed by madness, turned on his family. Wendy, armed with only her wits and a desperate love for her son, fought back. She knew she had to escape the Overlook, to protect Danny from his father's murderous rage. The hotel became a battleground, a place of terror and violence. Jack, fueled by the Overlook's power, hunted them relentlessly. The final confrontation loomed, a desperate struggle between good and evil, sanity and madness. Section 10. The Overlook's grip, a legacy of horror. The Overlook's power proved almost insurmountable. It had claimed countless victims, their souls forever trapped within its walls. The hotel stood as a monument to darkness, a place where sanity crumbled and evil thrived. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of the human psyche, the ease with which we can succumb to our darkest impulses. The Overlook's legacy was one of horror, its grip on the human soul as cold and unforgiving as the winter that enveloped it. Section 11. The Enduring Power of The Shining. Stephen King's. The Shining is a masterpiece of horror, a chilling exploration of the darkness that lies within us all. It is a story about the disintegration of family, the seductive nature of evil, and the terrifying power of the supernatural. King's masterful storytelling and vivid characters stay with us long after we finish the last page. The Shining is a testament to the enduring power of horror, its ability to tap into our deepest fears and leave us forever changed.